Yo, yo, yo. Welcome to the top of the bleachers. Today is October the 7th, and we are live 2024. Tuck. We're going to jump into some football stuff, man. What we saw this weekend, all the craziness that happened this weekend. But before we do, be sure and hit that like and subscribe buttons. We really appreciate that. And Tuck, breaking news, man, right off the bat.
Come on with me.
Bronny and LeBron finally played together.
Who cares?
Breaking news.
Who cares? Nobody cares.
Apparently, the whole world cares.
Oh my gosh, man!
Why is Skip Bayless rooting Twitter for me? Is what I want to know. He's rooting for Vandy. He's rooting for the Cowboys. He roots for the Lakers.
Is he rooting for the Cowboys? Because
he's a Cowboy fan.
Dak throws an interception, and we need to get rid of him. Dak leads them down to win the ball game, and all of a sudden, he's the best quarterback in the world.
Mm-hmm.
Skip Bayless is the perfect fair weather fan. Okay?
Yes, he is. Yes, he is. But he's running Twitter for me. Every time I try to root for somebody, Skip's rooting for him, and it pisses me off.
I'm not a Skip Bayless fan, man. Not a Skip Bayless fan at all.
I hate that guy.
But, I mean, with everything said, how about them hogs? Huh? Woo, pig.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. How about them hogs?
How about them Vandy Commodores?
Man.
Up, guys. Way to step up, man.
I don't know. We've been rooting for Vandy all year, man, and I finally paid off for them.
Okay, so we got two teams in college football that rushed the field. We got Vanderbilt and we got Arkansas. Vandy tore down their goalpost, marched it 3 miles, and threw it in the river. I don't know what the symbolism is there, but that's what they did. Okay. Arkansas we learned our lesson from Texas. We have foldable goalposts. As soon as the kids hit the stadium, we had ours down. They weren't tearing up crap out of ours. They just flooded the stadium. Here's what I found out though. Vandy has to pay $100,000 fine. Arkansas has to pay $250,000.
What?
It's our second time that we've rushed the field since the rule has come into effect. So we get a bigger fine. Man. So here's what I didn't know about the fine. Vandy will pay their $100,000 to the University of Alabama directly. Arkansas will pay their $250,000 to the Tennessee Volunteers directly. That does not go into some pot somewhere. That goes to the university that you beat. So we not only beat the Volunteers, but we gave them $250,000 worth of NIL money. So maybe we probably shouldn't do that anymore when we win. That's all I'm saying.
Dude, that's a ridiculous rule anyway, man.
It is. How dare them fans get excited?
I don't know, right? It's just try to take the fun out of it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Stop trying to take the fun out of the game.
Well, some of them I can understand. Some rules I can understand. Some rules are silly, and this is one of the silly ones. You know,
yeah.
Especially when you look at Vanderbilt, man. It's been so. If anything, the University of Alabama should pay Vandy $100,000 for putting that terrible of a game on the field for the Vandy Commodores, but I don't know. I didn't come up with the rule. I think it's stupid, but that's where the money goes. You have to pay it directly to the team that you beat.
That's ridiculous.
And if I'm the team that you beat, I put it straight into my NIL money. Where else would I put it?
No kidding.
So,
wow. Well, anyway, lots to talk about with that game.
We might want to see if we can lose to La Tech so they'll rush the field and we can get $100,000 back.
There's an idea. That's one way of earning some NIL money, I guess.
That's the only team I see rushing the field if they beat us. Everybody else is probably just like, oh, yeah, we beat them.
Yeah. We knew we would.
Yeah.
Well, a lot of hope now around the state for sure, and
probably too much. We're overreactionary. We go from wanting to fire Sam Pittman to now we want to promote T. Will to the head coach, and we think he's the greatest thing ever.
Yeah.
Two ball games, they thought we needed a new defensive coordinator. Now he's the greatest thing ever. It's
Yeah.
it's hard being a fan in college because
Mm.
they're just so extreme. They're just, especially a team like Arkansas that like sniffs, success every once in a while. Like we sniff it, and that just makes the fans around the state want more. It's like that first line of cocaine. Now I got to buy an 8 ball.
Yeah, I'd say it kind of gave me some hope too. But well, I mean, just all the teams that the way the whole season's kind of starting to, you can see the teams kind of starting to separate a little bit. You can see some chinks in the armor. Some of these other guys that were playing cream puffs all year long so far. What about Missouri getting freaking throttled by Texas A&M? Holy moly!
Missouri looked terrible, man. That's the worst game they've played in probably 2 years.
Yeah.
And it happened to be on the road against Texas A&M. I don't think Missouri's that bad of a team. I think that Texas A&M just at one point I think it was like their first 3 possessions they scored, and you could just kind of see Missouri give up. It was they haven't really been faced with that kind of adversity during a ball game. They've been kicking everybody's butt, and now they got a little bit of adversity, and they did not respond well to it. Gives me a lot of hope for the remaining of the season. I think we'll play LSU well. We'll play Mississippi State well. I think we'll play Ole Miss well. Still question about Texas. I don't know about Texas, but La Tech and Missouri, I think we got a shot in all those ball games. We even got a shot against Texas because our fan base is going. That place will be packed out when we play Texas.
Yeah, we'll see. We'll see what happens, how it all shakes out. But there was some. I mean, back to Missouri for just a second. I mean, the only close game they had was with Vanderbilt. That one went to overtime, right? And Vanderbilt's, they're no joke, man. They're
No,
not.
they're a
They're,
good team this year. They're a good team this year. That coach has really got them fired up.
And the thing about Arkansas too is we finally played a clean game like we've been begging them to freaking do. You know what I mean? And look what happens. Look what
Dude,
happens.
they followed all 3 points. My 3 points of winning the ball game. They did all 3. I think they had a handful of penalties, none that really killed us.
They didn't run for very much.
They didn't but we established the run, which helped a lot.
Sort of.
I mean, and I think Talon getting hurt at the end of that ball game. People are going to call me crazy. Talon getting hurt at the end of that ball game probably ended up helping us because with a healthy Talon in there, there's no telling what plays Bobby's going to call. But when he had to bring in Singleton, it was like, all right, we got to we got to bring this down a little bit. We had to bring in our backup, so we gonna run the ball. And Singleton ends up. Now, what did you think about the defensive guy getting out of the way and letting us score to get the ball back? Do you think that was the right move for Tennessee?
Or I'd say probably so because, I mean, we're going to run the clock out and kick a field goal and win it at the end. So, I mean, it makes sense. I get that strategy.
I was kind of the way our field goal kicker had been playing the last few ball games, and we had our backup in because our first kicker got hurt. I don't know. I might have played for the field goal and seen if the kid, had the cojones to make it or not. Because Nico just didn't have enough time left on the clock, no timeouts, and you're asking him to go the length of the field. It's just, that's hard to do, man. That is hard to do in any situation.
Yeah, you could have, maybe got a turnover too. Hit a guy, he fumbles, bad snap, anything. They lose yards. Maybe ends up being a 30-something yard field goal instead of closer than that. You know what I mean? A lot of things happen.
When Singleton scored, Steven came over and watched the ball game with me. And I told him, I said, they let us score. And he goes, no. And then we watched the replay, and you can see the defensive back just kind of step out of the way and let him score. And I was like, yeah. They want the ball back. And Steven was like, man, I don't think that's a good decision. I was like, hey, it doesn't matter. We got the lead, We got the lead. We just got to play some defense now.
Yeah. So, I saw the guy move out of the way, too.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then Taylor getting hurt. You brought that up. Man.
Yeah.
They're
Yeah, this is
saying possible MCL sprain. Could be back before LSU. Could be he might miss it LSU. They don't know yet.
it's the perfect time for our bye week. It really is. We got a lot of guys that are banged up and hurt.
Yep.
We got a couple of weeks to get healthy before we face LSU at home. They've already said that's a 6 o'clock kickoff on ESPN. See what
LSU.
happens when you win ball games? You get to play later in the day. You get to play a little later in the day when you win ball games.
This is true. Prime time, man. That's what they want you.
Yeah. So
Let's see. We can come back to the Arkansas game if you want to. What was some other the ones that stood out to you? I saw. Did you see the end of the Miami game? Oh my goodness.
well, okay, all right. First of all, Miami goes to Cal and they decide to play at midnight. Okay, so
Yeah.
I only made it to halftime. When I went to halftime, they're getting their butts kicked by Cal. I mean, getting their stomped. So I go to bed. I have to get up at 6 o'clock in the morning to make a couple of breakfast casseroles to take to church because it was my turn to feed the men of the church. So I got up, I'm fixing my casseroles, and I turn on Sports Center, the big, they talk about Vandy and they talk about Arkansas. And, I've had this smile for 2 days. All right. I'm going to have this smile for 2 weeks. All right. Talking about Vandy, talking about Arkansas. And then they start talking about the Cal game. And they start talking about how Miami came back. It's like, what do you mean Miami came back? They was down like 28-0 at half or something like that.
Dude, they did come
back, and I hear it comes down to a controversial call again.
It did.
Miami taking a page out of the Kansas City Chiefs and getting the refs on their side to win ball games.
Hey man, nobody's gonna look back in 2 or 3 weeks from now and oh yeah, I remember how they barely won. They won.
Oh, the people they barely won over will remember 2-3 weeks from now. I guarantee you.
They might,
because I still want that OSU game back bad. Okay.
Yeah. So. Yeah. Well, Cal's still hanging on to Auburn win probably.
But yeah, good for Miami, man. Way to respond.
Yeah, no doubt. That was an exciting game. That was a good one. There was so many exciting games, man. I watched the A&M Mizzou game, even though Mizzou got the dog kicked out of them. It's still exciting. A&M just run up down the field like no big deal.
It did not look like the same team that played us. Like either our defense is better than I've been giving them credit for, or Missouri's defense just did not show up in that ball game, one or the other. So
yeah,
I hope it's our defense is better than I've been giving it credit for. I mean, we did just hold the number one offense in the SEC to 14 points. So
true. I was going to see if I could see the top 25 scores. Dang
yeah, they're on the ESPN thing.
Yeah, no, it's not showing me like I want it to.
What a bunch of jerks, man.
No.
What do you want to know? Penn State beats UCLA 27-11.
I saw Michigan lost. Oregon won again. Vandy won. Ohio State won. Arkansas beat Tennessee. Georgia beat Auburn. Did you watch any of that one? I didn't watch much of that one either.
I watched the highlights of that one. That was Hugh Freeze does it again after the game and talking about his quarterback checking out of a play into another play, and that's not the play that he was supposed to go to. And then I guess he caught himself or something. He's like, that's my fault as a coach. I probably should have taken the timeout right there so we would have got lined up better or something like that. But yeah, he was ready to chunk old Thorne under the bus again.
Mm-hmm.
So
Penn State won again. Miami, they outscored Cal 21-3 in the fourth quarter.
Yeah.
That hurts. Washington beat Michigan. So number 10 lost, and then number 11 lost. USC got by Minnesota.
Washington beating Michigan's a big deal, man. Everybody thought Michigan had it figured out. They were just going to run the ball. They were going to be 3 yards in a cloud of dust. And Washington came in and said, no, ain't going to happen.
I don't trust Michigan at all.
Michigan shouldn't even be in the top 25 anymore.
Probably not.
I haven't looked.
USC shouldn't be either.
No, no.
Ole
But
Miss,
something about being a blue blood, it takes you a long time to get knocked out of the top 25.
true. Ole Miss got back on the win side, beat South Carolina pretty easy, 27-3.
Saw
Florida,
Navy beat Air Force.
yeah, I saw Navy and Army and Navy are both undefeated or something, 5-0.
Yeah. I like Army. That was the first time I'd watched Navy play. They're not too bad either. That might be a pretty good ball game right there, Army Navy.
I bet it will be. Florida State lost again. They stink.
I think half their guys have redshirted it or going into the transfer portal.
Oh my
I
gosh,
think
bro,
that's
they're horrible. Whew. That's got to be the
yeah,
worst turnaround ever. You know what I mean? They go from playoff team to 1-5.
yeah,
That's
yeah.
horrible.
That's pretty tough.
Um,
As far as the standings go, man, what a week in the SEC, and man, did it help the Big Ten out. The Big Ten sitting with like 3 or 4 teams undefeated.
mhm.
SEC's beating up on each other. We're falling down further than these Big Ten teams. When I know that we're better than these Big Ten teams, but
Yeah,
what are you going to do, man?
yeah. That's what I'm saying. I guess I don't know. Is Indiana and Pitt gonna stay undefeated the
Indy,
whole year? You know what I mean? I don't know.
dude, I kind of hope Indiana does. I mean, just for the story, they're kind of like the Vandy of the rest of the country. I don't
Well,
ever remember Indiana being good at football.
no, but we're gonna find out because they fix to play Nebraska, and then later in the year they got Michigan and Ohio State. So
Yeah.
we're fixing to find out about that and see. Let's see what was the other one I was looking at. Alabama lost, Tennessee lost, USC. Where you at? Oh, they're not in the top 25.
No, they fell out of the top.
That's hilarious. Mizzou dropped 12. Michigan dropped 14.
Man, OU, man, they dropped a long ways. They're like number 19.
Mm-hmm. They've only lost the one game, but now they got to play Texas.
They're behind Boise State.
I'm surprised they're ranked, man. If it wasn't for their record,
I'm telling you. So far, the only undefeated out of the SEC is Texas.
there's so much more ball left, though, man. These
Oh,
big,
yeah,
these
we're
big
only
games, these big games are fixed to
we're only halfway through the season, man.
happen.
This
Yeah, we still got like
and
Texas, Alabama. We still
first
got
three the first three games of the year are, mostly cupcakes or whatever. So I mean, real football just started a couple weeks ago, and
yeah.
it's already all twisted up, man.
It is, and it's gonna get worse, which is great.
Let me. So did you talk to your Alabama fan this week?
I did, yeah, yeah. He
Yeah.
was not happy.
Is he ready to fire their coach?
He didn't. He never said that. No, he just was very disappointed in the defense. Uh, not worried about the offense, which I don't blame him. I wouldn't be worried about the offense either. But they can't stop a run at all. They get bullied everywhere. They do. I mean, he's not lying. That's the truth. They could not stop the run. I mean, that's Vanderbilt lined up in like 5, 6 plays the whole game and just ran it right down the throat, and they couldn't stop it, and it pissed him off. So I don't blame him. They didn't. Their
Did you see?
defense.
Did you see the clip of Saban talking to? I think he's talking to Pat McAfee, and they're talking about hardest places to play in the SEC. He's like, well, the only place that's not hard to play in the SEC is Vanderbilt.
Yeah, yeah. They were playing it on the big screen after the game, supposedly.
Oh, you got to give credit, by the way, back to the Arkansas game for 2 seconds. You got to give credit to the guy in the PA room who decided to play Rocky Top while the guys were storming the field. I thought that was great.
Yeah, boy. All right. Well, let's You want to go through our top 12 if the season were to end right now?
We
Oh,
can. We can. It's kind of weird looking right now. It's really weird looking.
mine actually straightened out quite a bit, but
Like there's about six, maybe five of these teams that I really don't expect to be there at the end of the year. But right now, they're there. It's like, again, you got to put them in there because of their record. But just part of me is like,
uh,
there's no way that these
you don't
guys
have
are.
to. You don't have to just because of their record.
Well, I want to be fair to them. If the Hogs were, sitting,
Supposed to pick the best team.
if the Hogs were sitting 6-0 right now, I'd have them ridiculously high.
Oh well,
So
yeah, if they were 6-0, yeah, for sure.
I mean, at 4-2, I got them at 12. I mean, there's no telling where they'd be at.
Oh my god,
I don't have them in the 12. Give me a
you
break.
probably do.
Tell you
They're
what,
num-
though, they beat LSU. I'll be thinking about it. I'll
they'd
be
be
thinking
number
about it.
7 probably.
No, no, no,
Uh,
no. It is kind of
uh,
tempting, though. It is a little bit tempting.
I love it though. You want to know I love that part of you. I want you to know that's great that you're so that you're such a fan that you can't like you have these fan goggles on like constantly, which is great. I love it. I love it because I do too most of the time. I do too most of the time. This week I fell off the wagon a little bit. Not gonna lie, the Kool-Aid went sour on me there for a little bit. Yeah, but
You don't worry though, man. We got a nice big wagon behind us. You just jump back on anytime you're ready. Okay.
I said we'd lose one game. Give me a break. I didn't jump off the wagon.
Ah,
All right. Well, let's go through these top 12 then. If the season were to end today,
yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Right. Hang on. Let me pull up my list here. All right. Who's your number one?
Texas. Texas is number one.
I have Texas as number one as well.
As much as I hate putting them at number one, they're at number one. So
Till somebody knocks them off, right?
if somebody knocks them off.
All right. Number two.
Number two, I'm going out of the ACC. I'm going to take Miami.
Miami.
What a comeback. Perseverance on the road, which is something that you want to see from a championship team. I do think Miami will be one of the teams at the end of the year that will still be there.
Very possible. Very possible.
Who you got at two?
I have Ohio State at number two.
Yeah.
Until somebody can compete with them because they haven't had a competitive game yet. We'll see. That's my number two. Best money, best team money can buy, supposedly.
Yeah.
We'll see.
Yeah.
All right, who's your number three?
Number three, I'm going with Penn State. Undefeated.
Penn State. Okay.
Undefeated, and it keeps me from having to put OSU in there. Just like every week, I'm looking for somebody to put in there other than OSU, Penn State. You're my team this week. If you get beat, it's probably going to be Indiana because I do not want to put OSU in the top four. So.
All right, number three, I got BYU. I think they're going to win the Big 12. They're still undefeated. Yeah.
Undefeated, and they got
BYU.
them ranked 15th. 15th, they've got them ranked, man.
Yeah, that's BYU.
Not even in the top 12. I can't even get a sniff at the top 12. That's just ridiculous. And how bad is the Big 12 struggling when BYU is 15th and they're like the only Big 12 school that looks like they got a shot right now?
I know. Oklahoma State got freaking destroyed again.
Oklahoma State fell off after that Arkansas game. I thought they were really going to do well in the Big 12, and they just
it's not looking very good that we lost to them.
We shouldn't have lost to them. We shouldn't have lost. We turned the ball over too many times. We handed them that ball game.
We did.
So
all right, who's your number four? So that's be your
yeah, it's going to be BYU. They're the only undefeated out of the 12.
Big 12 champ.
Yeah, it's got to be BYU.
All right, I have Miami at number four. I put BYU at three just because I like them. And Miami just barely won.
They come back though. That's big on the road.
True. You can
And
flip
then,
those either way, I guess.
well, you talk about flipping a coin. The rest of these 8 are pretty much.
All right, well, who you got at number 5? Start there.
Man, I hate to do it. They just. I think you got to put Georgia there. I think you got to put Georgia at number 5. Their only loss is to Alabama at Alabama. No, it was at Georgia, wasn't it? No, it was at Alabama.
At Alabama.
It was at Alabama. So their only loss is on the road to a top team. So I'm gonna put Georgia at number 5.
Okay. I don't argue that too much. I've got Oregon at number 5. Still undefeated. Still undefeated. I think they're getting better each game. Like they started off kind of slow at the beginning of the year, but the offenses they look pretty good. They look pretty good.
I wish we played in their conference.
They're in the Big Ten now.
Yeah,
you want to be in the Big Ten?
I mean, I think. I know I'm a little bit biased here, okay, but I think if we're in any of the other 4 conferences, we do a lot better.
Yeah.
SEC is so freaking tough, man. So freaking tough.
Yeah. Well, Big Ten people say, well, Big Ten's so tough, man.
If we could be in the Big 12 right now, BYU, we'd probably be in the top 25.
All right. Who's your number 6?
Number 6, I had Oregon.
Oregon. Okay. Oregon. All right. I had Penn State at number 6.
Okay.
Yeah. So, all right. Number 7, who you
got? Number 7, I'm going to put Ole Miss.
Okay.
Their one loss is to Kentucky. Kentucky's a good defensive team. They seem to have straightened things out this week when they play. Of course, they got to play like Mississippi State or somebody like that.
Mm-hmm.
Just spanked them. So I got Ole Miss sitting there.
Yeah, they beat South Carolina, I think it was.
Well, yeah, that's what it was, South Carolina.
I've got Iowa State at number 7. They still undefeated and trucking right along. So if the season ended today, that's all I'm saying. I think they'd have to make it.
I got no problem with that. This was one of the things that I thought would be cool about the 12-team playoff. Some of these teams that never would have gotten a chance are now like Iowa State. You know, if Iowa State keeps playing like they are, they're going to end up getting into the playoff, man. Iowa State never had a chance at that when it was only 4 teams. No way in hell they get in when there's only 4 teams.
No kidding. A lot of teams like that.
Yeah.
A lot of teams like that for sure. All right. Well, we're not too far off so far, I don't think. No. You got number 8.
Number 8, because you got to put them in there somewhere. I put Ohio State in. I figured they'd get a home game at number 8. So
okay. Give me Indiana at number 8, man. I'm putting them in there, man. 6-0, man. They got a gauntlet of a schedule left, like we looked at a minute ago. But you still got to beat Michigan. You still got to beat Ohio State. You still got to beat Nebraska. But as of right now, you're undefeated.
You are undefeated, man.
And you are 6-0, and they have been playing well. Give me Indiana, number 8.
6-0, bowl eligible halfway through the season. I mean, even if Indiana was to only win half of their remaining ball games, they're going to end up with 9 wins. That's probably the best Indiana's done in who knows how long, man.
I know, right?
So
yeah, I'm putting them up there. Like I said, you got to get knocked off before I take you out. Who you got number 9?
Number 9 is where I put Iowa State.
All right. This is where it started getting a little tricky for me. Number 9, I put Georgia. These are my one-loss teams that I think are good enough to make the playoff, but they still got 1 loss.
Yeah.
So you got Georgia at number 9. Who you got at number 10?
At number 10, I got Alabama.
Alabama.
Yeah, they only got 1 loss. I'm pretty sure that they're going to right the ship. I don't I don't see this turning into 3 or 4 losses in a row. I mean, but that
Oh,
would be awesome. Don't get me wrong, that would
we'll
be awesome.
see.
But I also think that Alabama fans, and I said this at the beginning of the year, and I think they'll realize it at the end of the year. You can't just move on from Nick Saban. There's a certain level of excellence that Saban commands when he's your coach, and I just don't feel like this new guy has that same
Yeah.
whatever it is.
I'd say we won't be able to tell really for like 3 years. Like year 3.
Alabama fans are already realizing it. There's no way Nick Saban loses to Vandy in Vandy. Sorry.
They say they gave up 13 points out in the last 4 years or something like that.
Yeah, there's no way Nick Saban loses at Vandy. That is a coach who was coaching a team that had already was looking to the next week. They were not looking at Vandy.
Did you see their D-back that threw the fit on the field and threw his
Oh,
mouth?
yeah. Went over and kicked the ball and all that stuff. See, that crap would have never happened with Saban on the field either.
I know. The assistant coach tried to pull him out of the game. He waved him off and didn't come out of the game.
No.
No respect, bro. No respect at Alabama anymore.
And I was listening to the commentators, and I saw a couple of tweets about it too. It's just not the same. You remember our stories about John Wooden, how the first day of practice he taught you how to tie your shoes? All right. Saban was a lot like that. They're all running around with their shirts untucked, they're not getting dressed up to go to ball games. The coach is running around, looks like he got a t-shirt and jeans on the sideline. It's just not very
professional.
Yes, not very professional. And I think that ends up showing in your team later on.
I think so too. All right. Well, number 10, I've got Texas A&M. I know, but they only got one loss, and they playing some good football right now, man. And they got their quarterback back, and he looked freaking awesome. Yeah, give me the Aggies. Number 10. All right, who you got for number 11?
No, this hurts my heart, but I got Tennessee at number 11. I think they're still in there. I think that that might be their only loss this year. It's to us.
I dropped out Tennessee. I dropped out Missouri. Those are the only two I dropped out of mine. Number 11, I got Ole Miss. I agree they ought to still be there. And then number 12, I got Alabama. They went from first to 12th.
At number 12, I got Indiana.
Hey, the Hoosiers made it.
Yeah, man. I'm not going to forget an undefeated team.
The Hoosiers.
So, in mine, Texas, Miami, Penn State, and BYU get the bye.
All right.
Georgia, Oregon, Ole Miss, and Ohio State get home games. And Iowa State, Alabama, Tennessee, and Indiana got to travel.
All right.
But again, Alabama, Ole Miss, Georgia, Texas, and Tennessee. I mean, I really don't see an undefeated team in the playoff this year. I don't think it's going to happen. I don't see Texas going undefeated with the season that they got left. They got some tough games coming up. Georgia, Ole Miss, Alabama, and Tennessee all got to continue to play in the SEC. And Vandy showed you, man, the SEC, Vandy and Arkansas showed you this. Even when you're playing those guys in the middle or towards the bottom, you still got to show up and play. You can't just look. You just can't look that team over.
Yep, for sure. I got some of my bye teams are Texas, Ohio State, BYU, Miami, which I believe. Well, no, we got one different.
Penn State, Ohio State. Yeah.
On the road, I got Oregon. Or no. Host a home game: Oregon, Penn State, Iowa State, Indiana.
Indiana gets a home game. That would be awesome.
On the road, your one-loss teams: Georgia, A&M, Ole Miss, Alabama. So right now, I thought it broke down pretty good. I mean, like I said, Tennessee, you got to have them like number 13 probably on my list. Uh, Missouri, I always felt bad about having them on my list anyway.
So you count Tennessee's loss to Arkansas more than you counted Alabama's loss to Vandy. You
I
think
thought I
you
thought Alabama, as far as two one-loss teams, I feel like Alabama, if they were to meet on a neutral field, I think Alabama would beat Tennessee.
mm, I don't know, that'd be a good ball game. I'd like to
It
see
would be a
that.
good game.
We
That
need
would
to
be
get
good.
that we need to get that going on.
That's just my personal opinion, but that's how I picked, right?
Yeah, I kept Tennessee and Alabama in there, but
Mm-hmm.
I put Alabama ahead of Tennessee because I don't know. I don't. Maybe I should have put Tennessee above Alabama because I don't feel like the loss to Arkansas is as big a deal. It's a big deal, but it's not as big a deal as Vandy beating Alabama. Like
Yeah,
I
yeah,
feel
that
like
makes
if there
a little
is
more.
an SEC team that deserves to fall out of the top 12, it would probably be Alabama.
I thought that too, but I couldn't bring myself to do it. You know what I mean? Like I got to that
Well,
12th
that's
spot.
what
I thought, man,
that's why I was saying at the beginning of this that I don't think I just don't some of these teams I just don't see them being there at the end of the year.
that's
Okay.
why at the end of the year it's going to be the same thing. There's going to be like 4 or 5 teams that everybody's going to argue about. Be like, no, they should be in. They only lost to Vanderbilt, or whatever, or
Yeah.
whatever. I mean, it's
Well,
it's
let
going
me
to
tell you something.
be.
Alabama and Tennessee have got some more. They got a little bit more. Uh, what's the word I'm looking for? Like they're really going to have to work because Arkansas and Vandy just put game film out on how to beat them. Like, first of all, Arkansas dominated time of possession. We just didn't let their offense out on the field, which was one of my three keys. I'm glad to know that Sam listens to our show. Thank you, Sam.
The same thing in that Vanderbilt game. Alabama had the ball 17 minutes.
Yes. See, that's how you beat these teams. You run the ball, you establish the run, you run that play clock, you throw when you have to, not throw every freaking down, Bobby Petrino. You throw when you have to, and good things happen.
Taylor was on fire, man.
Taylor was on fire. He did a good job. This is one of his better games that he had as far as getting the ball out of his hand, his accuracy. He still did, and a lot of it had to do with the athletes that Tennessee has, but he has a tough time with the RPO. Uh, there, I saw 2 or 3 times when he gave it up when he should have kept it, and vice versa. But a lot of that comes down to the athletes on Tennessee because their defensive end looked like he was coming and then he'd stop. You know, it's almost like he remembered what his job was. You know,
Yep. Yeah, I saw some film on that. Their defensive ends were doing a really good job.
they did a great job of containing him. They really did. And Taylor just, those first 3 games that we played, he had the speed to get outside, to get the edge. And once you get into SEC play, that speed disappears, man. If you're going to run as a quarterback, you need a hole up the middle that you can,
Yeah.
you can get 5-6
Yeah.
yards and get down or whatever. But he's still trying to get the edge because his whole career he's been able to get the edge, and in the SEC you just can't do that. So,
Yeah, I agree.
but he looked a lot more patient. He didn't look so deer in the headlights. He didn't, you know.
Yep, it did. All right, well, let's move on to some NFL. Anything exciting that you want to talk about?
How about them Cowboys? My first, like I said, people, this smile is going to be here for 2 weeks. 2 weeks. It
Well,
doesn't even.
Cowboys play next weekend, right? Or are they on bye too?
Yeah, yeah, but it don't matter. It don't matter if the Hogs still beat Tennessee for 2 weeks. Okay, 2 weeks. Uh,
All right.
Cowboys game gets started late because of weather delay.
Yeah.
Dak has
Oh,
probably
Oh,
or
wait a minute, wait
work.
a minute, wait a minute. Before we go into, hang
Okay.
on,
All right.
Bobby. Hang on before we go to NFL.
Hey, thank you, Bobby. Appreciate that, man.
How about them Razorbacks? He
How
said,
about them Razorbacks, man? That is
good
something
game.
else.
That was a good game, Bobby. Uh,
We're
yeah,
gonna be talking about it for 2 weeks, so you don't worry about it, man.
yeah. So the Cowboys, man,
To
what was
get
it you told
started,
me? What was you telling me? Dak threw a touchdown pass on 2 separate days because the
yeah, first,
game started so late.
yeah, first quarterback to
Uh,
ever throw a touchdown on consecutive days in the same game.
that's crazy.
He threw his first one in the first half, and then he threw the winner the next morning at 1 o'clock in the morning. So,
That's crazy.
the two takeaways from that Cowboys game. Number one is Dak had probably the worst first half of football that I've seen him play. Um, and it wasn't really so much he was playing bad as the Steelers were playing good defense on him. Comes back, you know, in the second half, has a great second half, ends up driving them down, winning the game. Uh, I think CD only got like 2 catches the whole game because they had hit double team on him. But Tolbert, Turpin, the tight end, I can't think of his name, Schultz, they had great games. They even have a tight end. I want to say Shoemaker, but that's not right. They have a Schooner or something like that. Anyway, he had a great game. It was like Dak was like, "All right, you're going to double team CD. I'll just throw to everybody else." You know,
Yeah,
uh, running
that's
back
cool.
Dabble had a good game. Ran the ball well. I
Yeah,
mean,
20 carries.
20 carries.
I'd
It's
like to see it.
It was good, man. I still don't think it's Super Bowl. I don't think we're Super Bowl contenders. We still have so much that we need to work on, and we've got so many guys that are hurt and banged up on our secondary and our defensive line. Uh, Second takeaway was I'm sitting there watching that game, and I don't know how many people fit in that stadium. Probably 80 to 100,000 people in Heinz Field, except it's not Heinz Field anymore. They call it something else. Uh,
The Steelers?
yeah, it's not Heinz Field anymore. Some company came in and bought it.
Oh, that
It's called
sucks.
called something else.
That sucks.
Anyway, the only thing I could think was there's 100,000 people in Pittsburgh that aren't going to work tomorrow. That's all I could think. It's 1 o'clock in the morning. How many of these people are actually going to their job on Monday?
Yeah, no kidding.
No way, man.
They changed it to Acrisure
Yeah,
Stadium.
yeah.
What?
And it was fun. I don't ever watch First Take on ESPN because I can't stand Stephen A. Smith. Okay. Stephen A. Smith and Skip Bayless are pretty much, you can put them in the same boat for me. If I never heard another word out of them, I'd be fine.
Yeah.
But watching him eat crow, because he's a Pittsburgh Steelers fan, watching him eat crow, the team that he hates the most, the Cowboys, come in and beat the Pittsburgh Steelers. I actually turned on First Take this morning just to hear him talk about it.
That's funny. There was a few good games on. Some surprisers. Like I didn't think the Dolphins was going to pull that off, and man, they made it look ugly, but they got it done. They beat the Patriots.
You had a pretty good week. You ended up like you're in a tiebreaker tonight, aren't you?
Yeah, I'm in the tiebreaker for tonight. I got Kansas City. I think 58 points or something like that.
All right.
So
All
yeah,
right.
I got Kansas City. I need them to win
Kansas
tonight.
City. Kansas City is probably a pretty good pick. I mean, they're playing at home. They got the referees. They got Taylor Swift. They'll probably end up winning that ball game.
Yeah, probably. Hope
But
so.
even Kansas City this year, I don't know. They don't look like they haven't been beat yet. They're undefeated, but
Yeah,
they don't look like the same Kansas City team. I mean, they've been pulling out close ball games instead of blowing people out. So I
yeah.
don't know, man.
They got some injuries too. We're gonna see how that plays out too. But yeah, big game tonight. Bears won. Bengals got beat again by the Ravens. Even though Burrow had a good game, he had 5 touchdown passes and they still lost.
Dude, other than one ball game, their very first ball game of the year, Cincinnati has been playing good football. They just cannot win.
They can't win.
They cannot win, man.
Mm. Commanders whooped up on the Browns. No surprise.
Y'all better be watching out for Washington. And they're finally talking about benching Deshaun and bringing in Jameson. I think they're about 2 games too late, but whatever,
Yeah, that guy's a waste of space, man.
Waste of money.
Uh,
And if the Browns should be able to take him to court and get some of their money back.
Hey, the Jags finally got a win and beat the Colts.
Yeah. Trevor had a good ball game. I'll give a little blonde-headed goober
I picked them to win, so they did me right this week. Texas beat the Bills. The Broncos beat the Raiders.
Broncos, man. 99-yard interception wearing the old Orange Crush uniforms.
Yep.
I don't like orange on a uniform, but man, I like the way them old unis look, man. Reminded me of like
some John Elway
and Orange Crush and Steve Atwater and all them guys, man. That's what it reminded me of. And they played better. I think they need to stay in them unis, is what I think.
I think so too. Yeah. I think so too.
And I think Bo Nix and Jaden Daniels are pretty much head to head right now on who's going to get Rookie of the Year. I think Jaden might be a little bit ahead of him just because that kid is so dynamic, man. What a deep ball. Man, can he throw that deep ball.
If he can just stay healthy, man, he looks so frail. I worry about him getting hurt. I just hope he doesn't get hurt.
What about the Cardinals? Cardinals come back, get a win.
Yeah, score 11 points in the fourth quarter to make a comeback and get the win. That was a good game. I wanted to take they had the 9. Let's see, Niners -7. That was the line. I eyeballed that one all morning long, wanting to take the Cardinals. All morning long, I'm looking at that one, man. Man, I think the Cardinals are going to hang in now, and I think they might win. I think they can hang in this one, and never pulled the trigger. And look what they did. They covered.
Again, another team: San Fran, Kansas City.
Mm-hmm.
Those guys that are usually there at the top of the league, they just don't look the same this year, So I don't know. It's going to be interesting coming, going through the season because I don't know. We might end up with a few teams in there that we're not prepared for.
Packers got the win.
Kansas City might end up having to travel or something in the first round. That would be something.
Hey, the Giants got a win. How about that?
The Giants did get a win.
I
mean,
freaking Giants.
That Neighbors kid is good, man. That Neighbors kid is really good. And I think instead of trying to build your organization around Daniel Jones, you should be trying to build your organization around Neighbors, I think.
I agree. That dude is good.
And their defense played decent. Their defense didn't play too bad.
I agree. All right, man. Anything else you want to talk about before we get out of here? Or
no, man.
Good to go. Good to go for a Monday, man. What a great weekend of football, right?
Just a great weekend of football. If you didn't enjoy this weekend of football, you're a Alabama or Tennessee fan. I apologize. Maybe you're a Steelers fan. Stayed up late to watch that loss at the end of the ball game. I feel bad for you.
Well, just like for all we did at every end of every show, and especially for you Vols fans and Alabama Tide fans this week, be sure and check on your mental health. If you need someone to talk to, you can call the national hotline 988. Get some help. Don't struggle out there even when your team gets defeated by somebody they shouldn't get defeated by. It's okay. It's okay, man. Don't do life alone. Get some help. Call 988.
It's a good segue. I like that one. Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
You got anything to add on the 988? Are you good?
No, I'm good, man. Mental health's a serious thing. 988 national numbers, spread it around. It's all good in the hood, man.
All right, dude.
Just
Well, I
want
will. I'm
just
gonna
want
go watch some um, JV football
sweet.
tonight,
Sweet.
and so I'm fixing to head out to do that.
Is
And
he
then
is he going to get on the field in JV?
he gets on the field some. He plays more defense than offense, so we'll see. Plus, the last game of the year, maybe he'll get a little more playing time. Maybe we'll see.
Already last game of the year.
They only play like 6 games or something like that, I think.
Oh, JV only plays like 6 games, but it's not the end of the high school
No,
team.
not for high school. No,
Yeah,
I don't know what their record is, but we're deep in the season though.
yeah.
I mean, it's we're in October. It's probably week 7 or 8.
Yeah, high school gets started before everything else. So yeah, they're usually the first ones to wrap up.
Yeah, so we're getting close. It's probably week 5 or 6 because I think this week was homecoming. That's usually halfway.
I never understood homecoming.
Homecoming? They
Yeah,
do
I
that
don't.
so you can all get in a dress and do a dance and all that.
Yeah, I don't understand it. Is all I'm saying. Like you play for let's say you play for the Arkansas Razorbacks, okay, and you play 6 games, and then you have homecoming. It's like we've been here all year long. Why is this homecoming? I don't understand why they call it homecoming. I guess is like if it's not your first game of the year, then how is it really a homecoming? You know what I mean? Your first home game of the year ought to be your homecoming. That's when you come home.
There we go. Let's see here. Let me look this up.
It don't matter, man. I just never really understood it. I'm sure it's some sort of tradition. Are you learning anything?
Yeah, this is a long article.
Yeah.
Yeah, anyway, whatever. I don't care that much. All right, man. I will catch you later. I got to go catch this ball game, dude. I will catch you tomorrow, man. Peace out.
All right. Woo pig!
Thanks for watching our show. Remember to subscribe for more shows on the network. Smash the like button, share, and comment.